The Center for the Visually Impaired Accessible Money Identification. The announcement of information about organizations, products, and services in this video are not to be interpreted as an endorsement by the Center for the Visually Impaired. Empish Thomas, Public Education Manager.
In this video, I will demonstrate a couple of ways that people that are blind and visually impaired identify their money. One way someone who is blind might identify their dollar bills or their fives or tens or 20s, whichever one, is to fold them in half. Right here in my hand, I have a $5 bill, and you can fold it exactly in half like a square, and that's just to fold it over perfectly like a square. You can keep your $1 bills straight, perfectly straight aligned as they come, or you can fold them as a rectangle, long way, side down on both ends. 20s or 10s or other denominations can be folded over again and then also folded over again. There are multiple ways to fold bills. It's up to the individual how they would like to do it. Another way that a person that's blind or visually impaired can keep their money straight and organized is to have an accessible wallet, which I have one right here in my hand. You can put your $1 bills in one slot here in the back, which I've put in ones here, right here. Then there's a divider, which you can put your fives, which I'm doing right here, like so. And then another slot could be for 10s, 20s, or other denominations. That's another way that someone who is blind or visually impaired can keep track of their money. Also, folks use sighted assistants to also keep track of their money. And also people use a bill reader, which I'm going to now demonstrate. You might be wondering, how does someone who is blind or visually impaired even know what a 5 or 10 or 1 might be? Here in my hand is a bill reader. This is the smooth side. There's a little keychain end on the end right here. And then on the other side is where you're going to put your bill. There are some ridges here on the end, which is the side to put your bill. It doesn't matter which end of the bill you use or what side of the bill you use, but you do want to put the corner of the bill into the money reader. This does take some practice, so be patient with yourself as you try to put your bill into the slot. You want to gently slide the bill into the slot, keeping the corner of the bill flushed with the edges, as you can see me demonstrate here in the video. Keep the edges flushed with the edges of the bill reader, the bill flushed with the edges of the bill reader, and that will help you to keep it straight. Once you feel that you've got your bill flushed with the edges of the bill reader, there is a small impressed button on the opposite end of the bill reader that you can press, which I'm going to do. And the bill reader will announce the denomination. I'll press it again. The bill reader said that was a $1 bill. I'll also try it with the 5. I'm going to take the 5 here. And the same thing, I'm going to get it flushed with the edges of the bill reader here. And like I said, this does take a little bit of practice, so be patient with yourself, as I'm kind of struggling a little bit with it my own self here. Trying to, let's see here, figure out which best way to maneuver this. Okay, I got the $5 bill into the money reader, and it is flushed with the edges of the bill reader. And now I'm going to press the button, which is on the opposite end. And it said $5 bill. Okay. Now, some people also want to know, how do you identify coins? And I have a couple of coins here on the table, which I'm going to now demonstrate. quarters and dimes have ridges on the end, and a quarter is also bigger than a dime. So here's a quarter I have here in my fingers. If you feel the edges of the quarter, you'll feel some ridged ends, and that's how you can tell a quarter that's different from a penny or a nickel. Nickels and pennies are smooth, and a nickel and a penny are also different in size as well. And that's how you can tell the difference between quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies. Also, sometimes people ask about writing checks, and people who are blind and visually impaired can use a check writing guide. And I have one right here in my hand. They come in plastic, or like the one I have on display today is a metal check writing guide. And all you do is take your checkbook, and it usually fits a standardized checkbook, and you lay the guide directly on top of your checks. You get it in line like so, and lay it right on top, and the squares lay right on a line with the check. There's a line for your date at the top, who the check's going to be written to, the check amount that you have to actually write out in print, as well as the numeral check amount, and then the place where you sign your name. Now, these again are some of the ways that people that are blind and visually impaired can identify their money and can also be more independent with their finances.
www.cviga.org